Hello, Kicking and Streaming fans. Welcome back. And welcome to our 2022 Year in Review special episode. This is where we're going to give you our countdown of our 15 favorite streaming shows of the year 2022. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
This is Kicking and Streaming Podcast.
Number 15, Night Sky, Amazon. Irene and Franklin York, a retired couple, have a secret. A chamber buried in their backyard that miraculously leads to a strange, deserted planet. We reviewed this series back in May, and we have nothing but love for the chemistry between the actors J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek. Number 14, The Wheel of Time, Amazon. A member of a magical organization takes 5 young people on a journey, believing that one of them might be the reincarnation of the dragon, a powerful individual prophesied to save the world or destroy it. We talked about this fantasy series all the way back in January, and we were impressed by the story, the production values, and the cast. Number 13, Peacemaker, HBO. A man fights for peace at any cost, no matter how many people he has to kill to get it. Although we never really talked about this one in the podcast, this is my pick for one of the best series of 2022. Hilarious, filthy, gory, and oddly touching, the script on this is fantastic and the cast is damn near perfect. Number 12, House of the Dragon, HBO. House of the Dragon is set nearly 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, telling the story of the Civil War and the battle for control of the Iron Throne. Another one we didn't discuss on the podcast, this is Graham's pick for one of the best series of 2022. He loves the cast and the story and feels that you do not need to be a Game of Thrones fan to be able to fall in love with this series. Number 11, The Janes, HBO. We talked about this one back in June when the ruling came down about the overturn of Roe versus Wade. This film introduces the audience to a group of ordinary women who created a vast network of abortionists in Chicago during the late 60s and early 70s to provide safe and affordable illegal abortion to the women in need. The documentary offers firsthand accounts by the women known as the Janes, who are now in their late 60s and 70s, along with footage and interviews with law enforcement officers of the era. Make no mistake, this is must-see TV. Number 10, Why Didn't They Ask Evans? Britbox. A dying man's last strange words send Vickers' son, Bobby Jones, and his socialite friend, Lady Frankie, on a crime-solving adventure. Based on an Agatha Christie novel of the same name, this adaptation was helmed by the great Hugh Laurie, and we loved this show. Back in April, we gushed over the script, the casting, and the production, and this show is well worth a rewatch. Number 9, The Offer, Paramount Plus. This series follows Al Ruddy's experience of making possibly the greatest film of all time, 1972's The Godfather. Back in May, we discussed how it's unusual to see a story told from the producer's point of view, which is a risk that actually seems to pay off very well in this case, due to the cult status of this movie, of course, The Godfather. Number 8, Slow Horses, Apple TV+. This quick-witted spy drama follows a dysfunctional team of MI5 agents and their obnoxious boss as they navigate the espionage world's smoke and mirrors as they defend England from sinister forces. Starring Gary Oldman, this series is just simply a brilliant sleeper. Number 7, A League of Their Own, Amazon. This series is, of course, based on the beloved Penny Marshall classic movie of the same name, and follows Carson and Max as they carve their paths in baseball. It's the 1940s, and the United States is facing change with the ongoing war. These women are focused on making it clear that they do have a place in the world of baseball. We talked about this one back in August, and although we agreed that it was misnamed and possibly mismarketed, overall it is an important series for 2022 and well worth the watch. Number 6, Dr. Death, Peacock. Roll the clock back to February, and you will find our podcast episode discussing the Peacock original miniseries Dr. Death, starring Joshua Jackson, Alec Baldwin, Christian Slater, and Dominic Burgess. The circumstances portrayed, all of which is based on the bonkers real-life events of former neurologist Dr. Christopher Dunst. He performed some of the most atrocious surgeries ever seen in the history of medicine. Together, Graham and I analyzed the series with an approach that Dr. Death's actions were merely the symptoms of a for-profit healthcare system where marketing and branding are much more important than patients' health and lives. Number 5. Suspicion. Apple TV+. 5 ordinary Brits are accused of kidnapping the son of a prominent United States media mogul. They embark on a desperate race against time to prove their innocence, but will anyone believe them? And are they telling the truth? Back in March, when we first discussed this, we disagreed with the series being advertised as a thriller, and we both saw it more as an intense modern-day whodunit. Odd casting of Uma Thurman aside, this was a very bingeable series overall. Number 4. Mo, Netflix. In Texas, Mo straddles the line between 2 cultures, 3 languages, and a pending asylum request while hustling to support his Palestinian family. This is another series we never got to discuss in the podcast, but we really wish we had. Funny, sad, sweet, and completely believable, this is absolutely one of the very best shows 2022 had to offer. Number 3. The Devil's Hour, Amazon. In this psychological thriller, Lucy wakes every night at exactly 3:33 a.m. Nothing in her life has made sense in a very long time, but the answers are out there, somewhere. We gushed over this show back in November, and we will continue to. A show that makes you think, with a brilliant cast and phenomenal direction. We just can't get enough of this one. Number 2, The Sandman, Netflix. After years of imprisonment, Morpheus, the King of Dreams, embarks on a journey across worlds to find what was stolen from him and restore his power. It took Neil Gaiman 30 years to get an adaptation of his brilliant comic The Sandman made, and goddamn, it was worth the wait. We love this series so much we devoted 2 episodes to it. We loved every single thing about this show, and we cannot wait for the renewal. Go watch it. Now. Number 1, The Bear, Hulu. A young chef from the fine dining world comes to Chicago to run his family's sandwich shop after a death in the family. A world away from what he's used to, Carmy must balance the realities of small business ownership, his strong-willed kitchen staff, and his strained family relationships, all while grappling with the impact of his brother's suicide. As Carmy fights to transform both the shop and himself, he works alongside a rough-around-the-edges kitchen crew that ultimately reveals itself as his chosen family. Graham and I talked about this one in July, and I think we both knew it was going to be our top pick for the year even then. Refreshing, nerve-wracking, hilarious, and frustrating. This show makes you part of the family, and you just can't wait to get back home to visit. So there it is, everyone. Our list of the top 15 shows of 2022. We can't wait for what's in store for 2023, and we can't wait to have you along for the ride.